It was a quiet afternoon at the police station. Nothing unusual until a golden dog came sprinting across the street. Like a bullet. No leash, no owner, just pure panic in his eyes. He skidded to a stop in front of the station door and began barking with everything he had. Loud, desperate, frantic. At first the officers ignored him. Dogs bark all the time. But this was different. This dog wasn't barking at them. He was begging for them. He kept pulling at Officer Ryan's uniform, running a few steps ahead, then rushing back as if pleading, "Follow me before it's too late." No one knew it yet, but the dog wasn't just making noise. He wasn't lost. He wasn't confused. He was trying to say something. Something terrible had happened, and when officers finally followed him, what they discovered next shocked everyone. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. It was a slow afternoon at the police station. Phones quiet, paperwork half finished, officers chatting casually until the front door slammed open with a loud bang. Officers turned, confused, only to freeze in disbelief. Golden Dog sprinted inside, fur dusty, paws scraping the floor, barking with pure desperation. He wasn't wandering or lost. He was frantic. His wide, panicked eyes locked straight onto Officer Reed as he jumped, barked, and whined like he was begging for someone to listen. At first, a few officers chuckled nervously. Who let a dog in? Someone joked. But the dog wasn't playing. He tugged at Officer Reed's pant leg, pacing in frantic circles, barking so loudly the walls echoed. Reed frowned, kneeling down. "Hey buddy, what's wrong?" The dog backed up quickly, barked again, then ran to the door, scratching it repeatedly before rushing back to Reed, desperate, insistent, terrified of losing time. Reed stood, immediately sensing something was seriously wrong. This wasn't random behavior. The dog wasn't hungry, lost, or confused. He was trying to communicate hard. The dog darted outside, again barked sharply, then looked back, trembling as if pleading, "Follow me now." Reed grabbed his vest and radio. Without hesitation, something out there needed help. And whatever it was, the dog was the only one who knew where. Officer Reed stepped outside, expecting the dog to run off aimlessly. But instead, the Golden Dog stopped just a few feet away, barking directly at him. Tail stiff, body trembling with urgency. Reed slowly approached, hands raised. "Easy. Show me." The dog darted forward a few steps, then stopped again, barking back at Reed as if scolding him for being too slow. This wasn't panic. This was purpose. Precise, focused, almost trained. Two other officers walked out, trying to lure the dog with treats, water, anything to calm him, but he ignored them completely, even turning his head sharply whenever someone else approached. He only watched Reed. His frantic bark softened for a moment, becoming a desperate whine, like he knew Reed was the only one who would understand. Reed nodded to the others. "He's not looking for help. He's giving directions." The dog suddenly bolted forward, sprinting across the parking lot before stopping again and looking back, urging Reed to follow. Reed grabbed his radio. Dispatch, I'm following a possible emergency lead. Unknown situation. Stand by. The dog barked sharply, then took off again, threading between cars with flawless precision. Reed followed fast, adrenaline rising. Whatever was happening out there, the dog wasn't panicking. He was guiding, and every second he hesitated felt like a second someone didn't have. The golden dog sprinted down the street with a speed that forced Officer Reed into a full run. Cars honked as the dog weaved between them, never hesitating, never slowing. Reed followed closely, adrenaline surging as he realized the dog wasn't leading him randomly. He was following a trail. Every few seconds, the dog glanced back, making sure Reed was still behind. Then he bolted toward a side road that led to the wooded outskirts of town. Reed's breath hitched when he saw broken branches along the path, fresh and splintered as if something or someone had pushed through recently. The dog sniffed the ground intensely before barking sharply and sprinting again deeper into the woods. Reed spotted something ahead, a piece of fabric snagged on a bush, torn and dirt stained. He grabbed it quickly. It looked like part of children's clothing. His heart dropped. "Oh God," he whispered, moving faster. The terrain grew rougher as the dog guided him over logs, through mud under low branches. Reed stumbled but kept going, driven by the dog's urgent cries. Soon he noticed footprints, small ones, alongside deeper prints belonging to an adult. The dog barked louder, tail rigid, following the tracks with laser focus. Reed radioed, "Possible abduction trail. Request backup. Now." The dog suddenly stopped, ears stiff, body tense. Something was just ahead. Something dangerous. The dog crept forward slowly now, no longer sprinting, each step careful, ears pinned back, body lowered in fear and determination. Officer Reed followed closely, hand hovering near his holster. The forest suddenly opened into a small clearing, overgrown and eerily silent. The dog barked sharply at an old storm drain partially hidden by tall grass. Reed approached cautiously, hard hammering. As he knelt, he heard it, a faint trembling sound echoing from inside. A whimper. Reed's breath caught as he shined his flashlight into the darkness. Two terrified eyes reflected back at him, wide, trembling, desperate. A small child huddled inside, knees pulled to their chest, clothes torn, dirt covering their face. "Hey, hey sweetheart, you're okay now?" Reed whispered, voice cracking. The child flinched at the light before recognizing the golden dog behind him. "Buddy, you came back," they whispered weakly, reaching out with trembling fingers. Reed gently leaned in, careful not to scare the child further. "Can you move? Are you hurt?" The child shook their head, pointing deeper into the drain. Reed froze. There was another sound, a faint groan, low and weak. Someone else was inside. The dog growled, stepping forward protectively. Reed radioed, urgently. "Multiple victims found. Send medics and backup immediately." As he prepared to crawl inside, he realized the dog hadn't just found one person. He had led them to something far bigger. Officer Reed lowered himself into the storm drain as carefully as he could, the cold metal scraping against his vest. The golden dog stayed at the opening, barking anxiously, pacing in tight circles. Inside, Reed found the small child shivering violently. "It's okay. I'm here," he whispered, lifting them into his arms. But the second groan from deeper inside echoed again, this one far weaker. Reed crawled forward, heart pounding, shining his flashlight into the shadows. He spotted a man lying, collapsed against the wall, barely conscious. His leg was twisted, unnaturally, blood soaking the ground beneath him. Reed recognized him instantly. The child's father reported missing alongside their kid 2 days ago. "Sir, stay with me. Help is coming," Reed said urgently, checking for a pulse. The man blinked slowly, whispering, "My dog." He went for help. Reed's chest tightened. The dog hadn't just been desperate. He had been their lifeline. Reed radioed again, voice sharp with urgency. "Adult male with severe injury. Need medics now." He carried the child toward the entrance, where the golden dog wed loudly, tail wagging in relief. Reed handed the child up to waiting officers, then returned for the father. Outside, paramedics rushed in, lifting both victims onto stretchers. Through the chaos, the dog never left their side, nudging each stretcher with gentle, trembling breaths. He had refused to give up on them, and now they were finally being saved. Back at the station, officers gathered around the paramedics as the child and father were rushed into ambulances. The golden dog stayed glued to their sides, barking anxiously. Whenever someone blocked his view, Officer Reed knelt beside him, gently resting a hand on his head. "You did it," he whispered. "Without you they wouldn't have survived." The dog leaned into Reed, exhausted, but refusing to leave until both stretchers were safely loaded inside the ambulance. At the hospital, doctors worked quickly. The father had suffered a severe leg fracture and dehydration, while the child was shaken but stable. When the child finally woke, the first words they whispered were, "Where's Buddy?" Nurses guided the golden dog into the room. Buddy sprinted forward, tail shaking wildly. The child wrapped their arms around him, crying into his fur as doctors and officers watched with emotional smiles. Buddy had not only found them, he had protected them. Later, after the father regained consciousness, Officer Reed asked how it all happened. The man explained that they had been trapped after a fall and Buddy had refused to leave, staying with them until the father begged him to go get help. He understood, the man whispered. He knew exactly what to do. The officer stood in silent awe. A dog had done what most humans never could, risked everything to save the people he loved.